Hey everybody, this is setting up Wxwidgets with CMake and CMake FetchContent. So we'll be doing a very minimal or bare minimum setup to get started with Wxwidgets. So this is a blog post of the exact same thing we'll be doing. So if you prefer reading, take a look at it. I'm gonna pull up my terminal and we'll just get started. So I have my terminal here. I'll start by creating a directory for our project. So I'm going to call it wxwidget setup. So I'm going to say mkdir wxwidgets setup. I'm going to navigate into it. I'm going to say cd space wxwidget setup. Okay, that's empty. We'll start with creating the root CMake list file. So I'm going to say touch CMake list.txt. And I like to have my code in the src directory, any third-party dependencies in the vendors directory, and have a build directory for the output. So I'm going to create three directories. I'm going to say src, build, and vendors. And inside the src for now, I'll have a CMake list.txt and a main.cpp for our app code. And if I go back, I'm sorry there, go back, we'll just go to the vendors. And since we only have Wxwidgets as our dependency, we'll have one directory for that. So I'm going to say Wxwidgets. Oops, that's wrong. So we'll just rename it. So I'm going to say Wxwidgets. And I'm going to create a CMake list.txt file for the directory. There, go to Wxwidgets, do the same. And so let me just go back and show you what we have. It's just one level up. Cool. So we have a build directory. We have a CMake list. That's our root. We have a src and vendors. So we'll start with the root CMake file. So I'm going to open that up in Vim. Feel free to do this in VS Code and any other editor you like. I'm going to say CMake minimum required version. That would be something like 3. Let's go with 3.5. I'm going to say project. That's the name of the project. So I'm going to say, let's say Wxwidgets setup. Feel free to name it whatever you like. All I need to do now is say add subdirectory, which is our vendors directory, and the src directory. So I'm going to say src. Cool. And that's all we need for the root CMake file, right? So if you go into the src directory, right? So I think I just renamed it wrong. Let me just make that right. CMake lists.txt. That's cool. And here we are. So we'll just fill one empty code for our main.cpp. Right? I'm just going to pull that up from my website. I've got this app code. You can just copy this from here. I'm going to paste that, correct? And if you go into the src directory, right? So all the src directory you need to do is, hey, we're building an executable. We need to link the wxwidgets library with our executable. We'll need to set the binary build path, right? So let me just copy that code from here. So if I look into this, I have, let's find that. Cool. This is basically what we're doing. So if I copy that, just turn that off. Cool. So if you look at here, if you look here, our name of the executable is my app. It's the main entry point. Our main functions in main.cpp. We're linking our target. We're linking our target, which is my app, with Wxwidgets. We'll set up Wxwidgets in a moment. And this line is something that I like to do, which is I like to have the binaries built inside CMake binary, which is the build directory /bin. So the my app target will be built inside /build/bin, right? That's just to make it clean. Feel free to remove that line if you don't like it. And let me just show you. So we have the main file, we have the CMake list.txt file, and we have the root file. Now we need to set up the vendors directory. So if you go to the vendors directory, All this when this directory CMake list.txt file has to do is add the subdirectory. So it just needs to include, tell CMake, hey, you have to look in this directory. So I'm going to say add subdirectory and say Wxwidgets. Cool. And the last step we need to do is open up CMake list of the Wxwidgets directory inside vendors directory. I'm going to copy the code from my website, just no need of extra typing. So I'm going to say this is all we need to do, which is include fetch content, which means, hey, I'm just instructing CMake, I want to use the fetch content module, and I'm going to create a declaration saying, hey, this is the name of the target that I'm building. The source is from Wxwidgets. For Wxwidgets is a Git repository, so I want you to pull from Git or GitHub, and the branch or the Git tag I want to use is master. I'm going to pull up the main. I'm going to pull the main branch, and fetch content make available. What it does is it instructs CMake, hey, I want to use this module with my project. So I'm going to exit out of here. Let's see if that does the thing. So let me just do CMake space dot dot, which means, hey, I want to run CMake, and dot dot instructs, it gives the context, where's the root CMake list.txt file. And this should take a moment. So that's done. So CMake just generated the build file. So I'm gonna make the executable or create the executable using make. You can either use Ninja if you're on Windows or Mac. I'm using Unix makefiles. I'm going to just say make, and that's going to start building the executable. So it's going to take some time. I'm going to skip this part. So the make command has finished building the executable. To run it, so if I can see the bin directory there, I'm going to go inside the bin directory and say dot slash my app, and that just builds my app. So this is a very basic, very minimal setup just to get you started. There are a lot of CMake and Wxwidgets flags that you can set to make the build process much faster. Most probably we'll be covering that in a different video.